ANC provinces are organizing themselves along predictable lines ahead of the weekend's policy conference, National Policy Conference. Delegates registering at this moment. They'll be reviewing ANC policies, but this conference will, however, serve as a precursor to the National Elective Conference that's going to take place in 5 months' time in December. ANC senior reporter Spamandla Koke joining us now live from the venue of the registration day of the ANC delegates for the policy conference. Spamandla, good afternoon. What's the latest? What's happening there? Is the registration process at least going smoothly for the policy conference?
Well, that registration process is still underway here. Delegates are coming in. They are being registered in terms of their provinces. I know that KwaZulu-Natal is done now. Limpopo has just concluded its registration process. Gauteng and Mpumalanga will be next. Today is mainly about that registration of delegates who will attend the National Policy Conference of the ANC. Ordinarily, this should be the biggest and the most important gathering of the governing party, simply because the ANC runs South Africa. And the ANC-led government is the one that is responsible for implementing policies that are meant to change the lives of South Africans. However, as we know that the country is struggling, grappling with issues of youth unemployment, poverty, inequality, energy crisis, and you are talking about issues of health, issues of education. So it's not looking good in many fronts. The cost of living is high, issues of governance, municipalities that are not performing, hence that affects service delivery. So ANC delegates, about 1,600 of them, will converge in Nasrec, and they will discuss key policy issues that they will take to their National Congress in December for it to become, or for them to become, resolutions. But right now, we have just spotted Muzi Chirwa, who is the Provincial Secretary of the ANC in Mpumalanga Province. Nopara, thank you very much for your time. As the delegation from Mpumalanga, what are you bringing to this conference? Which key policy proposals and issues that you would want to see this conference discussing and eventually adopting?
Thank you very much. We are glad to have this opportunity as Mpumalanga Province. We are part and parcel of this National Policy Conference. As a province of Mpumalanga, we looked issues around economic transformation. What is it that can be done to ensure that we really fight the battle against unemployment, poverty and inequality. Having said that, as Mpumalanga Province, we have recognized and noted that we are an energy hub province, wherein the coal-powered power stations are situated in Mpumalanga. We want to see a situation wherein we support the call made by the President when he was addressing the country to say, let us revive these power stations, let's ensure that we have more mines and continue to save the jobs that are there in Mpumalanga. While in the meantime, negotiations are underway to ensure that we transit from the coal-powered power stations to renewables and mixed energies. At the same time, as Mpumalanga Province, around the issue of the economy, we said agriculture and tourism are the issues that we must push forward and ensure that municipalities, provincial government, they get greater support from national government to ensure that our people on the ground, they are supported, those who are in cooperatives and so on and so on. But we also look at the issues of around peace and stability, international relations. We support the clarion call made by Minister Aaron Mtswaledi to say we need to have some form of a board wherein all departments that are affected so that we can deal around the issues of the border control. Remember, Mpumalanga is bordering Kingdom of Eswatini and Mozambique. So we are a troubled province around those bases. So we are pushing forward to ensure that those happen. But around organizational renewal, we say the Youth League must have its structures. We are going to push very hard to ensure that there are policies around that. Those are the issues that we looked at policy level.
In terms of this issue of immigration and migration, I'm sure it's one of the talking points, as you have highlighted, that you will be pushing strongly for, together with Limpopo, which is also a border province. In terms of Mpumalanga, what is it that you think needs to happen to ensure that the country's borders are well managed and they are effective, they are not porous?
We are correct. As a province, we think that first and foremost, other than dealing about the management of those borders, we must ensure that we put more of our soldiers around the borders, but at the same time we ensure that various departments that must be supporting Home Affairs, they are also put together, like education, social development, so that as a cluster, they are able to ensure that people coming from other countries, we're able to manage as a collective of departments.
What is Mpumalanga's position and view on step aside? I know that should not be dominating this national policy conference, but we can't run away from the fact that some provinces are calling for the step aside resolution to be reviewed. Others are calling for it to be scrapped. Others are saying, well, there's nothing wrong with step aside, leave it as it is. What is Mpumalanga's position?
Our 54th National Conference resolution highlighted the step aside, which the National Executive Committee is implementing it. Ourselves as Mpumalanga Province, as part and parcel of organizational renewal and as part and parcel of sustaining our program of unity and renewal, we think and we feel that we must ensure that we safeguard the integrity of the ANC so that the people out there, they can see that the ANC is fighting very hard against corruption. In that regard, as a province, we think and we feel that we must sustain, we are reaffirming the step-aside rule, which is in part is implemented in terms of the rule 25.70 of the ANC constitution.
Did I read incorrectly then that Mpumalanga was pushing for the step-aside resolution to be reviewed or to be scrapped?
I heard over the media that said Mpumalanga is pushing for the scrapping. Mpumalanga is pushing for the reaffirming of the step-aside rule. Why? Because this rule, it is safeguarding the integrity of the ANC.
Let's talk about issues of the economy. Your province is rich in terms of, coal and mining, agriculture, tourism, but it's one of the poorest provinces in South Africa, plagued by youth unemployment. In terms of economic transformation, what is it that Mpumalanga is pushing for to make sure that those economic sectors and the policies that will be adopted here or discussed would unlock that economic potential?
We are correct. That is the first part, that when we enter this space tomorrow, in the commissions, we'll be pushing very hard to ensure that Mpumalanga province, all the policy positions that we have and all the programs that we have, they find expression in the policies of the ANC. So by the time December comes, the national conference comes, we resolve around those so that we ensure that as a province, we continue to fight against poverty and unemployment.
Thank you very much for your time, Baba. Let's leave you. You have to go and register. That is Muzi Chirwa, who's the provincial secretary of the ANC in Mpumalanga. I'm not sure if we still have time. I wanted us to take a listen to what other provinces are saying in terms of the step-aside resolution of the ANC. I'm told that we are out of time, but simply put, Muzi Chirwa there saying, well, it's not true that Mpumalanga is pushing for the scrapping of step-aside. They are reaffirming step-aside resolution. So for now, it's Limpopo and KwaZulu-Natal that have come out to say it needs to be scrapped.